a real opportunity to spend some time with a wonderful man by the name of David Ravandi. He first set up a tequila company in 1997, which he later sold in 2014 to Constellation. But that didn't stop him because he was passionate about developing organic tequila and built another brand, which he is now founder and CEO of, 123 Tequila. So without further ado, a real pleasure to welcome and say hello in your wonderful home.
Thank you.
David Ravandi. Lovely to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Jez. Thank you for being here, and thank you for spending a little time together.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, tell us what's different about your amazing tequila.
Tequila has come a long way. I tell people it's a good time to be a tequila drinker because there's a lot of great high-end tequilas in the market. So you can pick and choose the style of tequila that is likable to your palate. Earlier in the late 80s and early 90s, the quality of the tequila was not very good in USA. And one of the biggest passion that I had was to make the best tequila possible. And basically, I picked up all my knowledge and all my luggage and went down and started researching that. And one thing led to another, and I developed a brand called Casa Noble and launched it in 1997.
Brilliant. And then you went on to develop another tequila brand.
Casa Noble was developed in 97 and then sold to one of the giants of our industry, Constellation Brands, in 2014. In the meanwhile, I got very interested in organic farming and distillation. And as a small artisanal boutique project, I started purchasing some lots of land and started doing organic farming in the year 2000 and launched a brand called 123 Organic Tequila in 2010, which was one of the very first organic tequilas that was introduced in USA.
Brilliant. And so when you think of high performance, what is it that springs to mind? What's the example that you think of?
I think it really has to do with a lot of discipline, a lot of passion, and having a purpose, like in my case, was to really revolutionize the quality of tequila in US and bring the best I can. And now you can see tequila last year surpassed vodka in USA. It surpassed whiskey in USA. So it's like the number one selling spirits in USA, and there is no stopping it. You know, there was a time that you thought tequila was a peasant drink. But now every luxury magazine you open up, every ad after another ad is big tequila brands. Of course, I'm not that sort of a brand. I'm a lot more smaller, artisanal, but whatever I make, I sell.
And everything about you that I've come to get to know, and even in your wonderful home, there's a real preciseness to what you do.
I think that has to do with being a boarding school kid, number one. I was raised in boarding school in London from 10 to 14, and then American high school in Switzerland. And I came to US when I was 18. So I think that creates a lot of self-discipline.
And how does that transcend through the brands that you've set up?
My biggest motto in life is the devil is in the details. So I tell people I do anything from putting a stamp on an envelope to delivering the cases of tequila from the back door and then cleaning up and going on the stage and being the master distiller and giving the spiel. So it's very helpful because you've done every little element of that road to get to the top. And if something is not right, you know what it is because you've been there. So you can address it and hopefully try to fix it. And another key to my success has been failure, because every failure I've learned more and it made me stronger. And even there's a quote which I can't exactly say from Winston Churchill, which
doesn't kill you, makes you stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, people often struggle to talk about failure.
Yeah.
What does failure mean to you?
Well, you have a small failure and you have a big failure. In general, it's failure when things are not really going the way you anticipated to go. Hopefully, you either find a solution, then it's a matter of time. If you can find it soon and address it and move on, or sometimes there is a missing link that is out of your hand. So you have to see what that missing link is and how it can be fixed.
So what is it in your personality that's helped you deal with both success and failure?
I think one of the key things, again, is the fact that I was raised from an early age in boarding school. I'm very friendly. I'm very borderless. I have like funny stories. I was doing a show with a bunch of my Mexican colleagues in Korea, and they sent me in front, and I'm like, I don't speak any Korean. They said, doesn't matter, David, you're going to speak the international language. And oddly enough, we closed the deal without having to speak in Korean. So I'm very good with people. And because I'm very passionate about what I do, I think it shows in my way of approaching people or speaking about it. So that's been very helpful to me.
And as you look out across your team in 123 Tequila now, what is it that they all embody? What's the thing that you look for?
I think the key thing is the love and respect that we have for each other. I think it's a very important thing. I don't want to say we are friends because they're my employees, but we are friends as well.
Yeah.
So like during the pandemic, they did not want me to go visit anybody in Mexico because I'm their boss and then I'm the oldest. They didn't want me to die. It made perfect sense.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah. But we didn't lay off a single employee, and we moved on and we rode the strong waves and overcome. And then before you know it, everybody sat at home and drank like there was no tomorrow. So our sales went like crazy. So it was the first time in the history of my 30 years of tequila making that we ran out of añejo during the pandemic. And people are like, how can you run out of añejo? I said, well, tequila añejo that we make is 18 months aged in barrel. You know why we ran out? Because everything that we made, it was drank. So now we had to age some more, and we have to wait 18 months until it becomes our añejo.
So 2 tequila brands, you've set up this thing, and it's very much, I can almost taste your personality in your product. Lots of founders and leaders out there. What's the one piece of advice that you would give to them?
I think to be very passionate and pursue your passion in life. In this day and age, with such a popularity in the tequila segment in our industry, there is not a week that I get an email or a call from somebody that wants to develop a brand. And it's like, it's so obvious to just see that it's like they're just chasing the money. My motto in life has been always be passionate about what you do, follow your passion, and the money will follow. And it's always been spot on, which is, I think it's very important. And you live a long life, you live a very happy life. And, you know, I see people that are very unhappy with what they do. I'm like, hey, you only live once. Do what you like to do. You'll change your life. So
life is short.
Yeah, very short, yes.
And any other parting words of wisdom? You know, it's this time of year when people think about, is this the right job for me? What advice would you give them?
Dig deep, see what interests you, what excites you. You know, if it's something that gets you excited, then pursue it and educate yourself and see if something you want to pursue. I mean, it's a very general answer. Of course, it depends what the stage of your life you are in, because the older you get, the harder it is to start something new. But the biggest word I can say is pursue your passion, really.
It's so frequent that is a common answer, but yet at the end of it, that's it. And, you know, there are some great companies that have been created by founders way beyond their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Some of the most successful businesses.
Yes, yeah.
So there's
always it's because the founders probably had the financial ability to do that. So it's like, it's per case. Each individual case is different, but absolutely, because, you know, in fact, it took me a lot longer to develop my first tequila brand than 123 Organic Tequila. I guess it was a lot of know-how, and tequila business is a small industry, so your reputation is out there. And when you do something good, people start realizing that, okay, this guy has got a new product and it's going to be in line with what he did before, because the only thing he does is produce good products. So you get to be known for what you do, good or bad. Yeah.
What's the biggest learning between the first time doing it and the second time doing it?
Keep it as small as possible when it comes to partners and ownership, because the first brand had a different blueprint model. And the whole objective was to go after the big brands and be the next big brand. Whereas now the tequila industry and the consumer are a lot more educated. So tequila can be treated like a single malt. You're a small artisanal distiller, and this is the style of tequila that you make. And you just make so much of it. And the tequila connoisseur, when they taste your tequila and this is what they like, then you have a supporter for life, because they can get only that type of tequila from your brand. So that makes it beautiful. So to answer your question, stay smaller, stay artisanal, stay boutique, in my case. It makes life a lot more fun, and you don't have investors that have no passion for the product, which kind of defeats the purpose of, you know, being really passionate about what you do. So. Yeah.
Well, David, thank you so much for spending
time. It's my pleasure.
I know it's a busy time of year for
Absolutely. It's always busy. People love to drink great tequilas.
Cheers to that.
Wonderful. Pleasure. Thank you for your time.
As we heard there from David, being passionate about what you do is really, really important. One of the things that he talked about there was attention to detail. And knowing David the way I do and just seeing his environment that he works in, everything has a place. And he is no shame to, as he said, putting the stamp on the letter and sending it, or taking the box out of the back to deliver his wonderful product. People who prepare to get their hands dirty are worth far more than the people who just sit behind a desk. Have a great Christmas, New Year, whatever festivities or holidays that you celebrate. And remember, be better, do better, demand better. Let's go.